on governance, quality and inclusiveness. This is State of Higher Education in South Asia, Governance, Quality and Inclusiveness. I think it has been very illuminating with a lot of data and very good suggestions, and I hope all the suggestions and all the recommendations are duly noted. So based on what I have heard and what I think myself, I will only present a few things in front of you. If you consider the population, then South Asia has built one of the world's largest higher education ecosystems. And if you consider the countries, there are many common factors, but also there are some notable differences. And if I focus on only the last few decades, then I think it will be fair to say that the regional efforts have focused on building and expanding university systems, and somewhat less emphasis has been placed on education and scholarly research about higher education. And one thing which is recurring, that is the collaboration among the countries which are geographically quite close to each other. The countries and the universities is patchy, precarious, and political. This is, I believe, is a huge opportunity lost. And if we can do just one thing in this regional conference, that is to devise a policy so that we can increase the level of collaboration, cooperation among the universities in these different countries, that would be a very big step forward. And there are many other issues. For example, our universities in many aspects play a subordinate role or as a back office. A back office for sending the top students to other parts of the world, mainly to the USA or UK, Canada, Australia. This has been a standard of success. Actually, we take pride by counting the numbers of students that from our universities who go to the so-called developed countries for higher education, but there is very little initiative for making scopes for their return. And China is one very bright example, and sometimes India as well, that what can be done when there are programs and initiatives to bring back the top talents from again. So this is another thing we need to look very carefully. If we think about governance, equality and inclusiveness, there are certain aspects which we need to think about. That is higher education reform. Our chief advisor today told very eloquently and very clearly that we have failed in many respects. So reform is a must. And how we do it, how we move forward, it is a matter of policy decision and deep discussion. And then there is this question of access to higher education. This issue is very important. Do we really need all our college students? In Bangladesh, we call the HSC level students, when they pass, all of them, do we need that all of them should be enrolled in the universities? That is another question which we often neglect, but this is a very pertinent question. We need to address this. And there is this matter of diversification and inclusiveness, again a matter of policy, and this needs not only policy, we need budget. Because if you think about the students with special needs, I really feel ashamed and I feel guilty when I see in my university there is actually non-existent toilet facilities for students with special needs. And we call ourselves civilized, but this much we couldn't do. And if we ask for money to do this, or making some special arrangements with lifts, or just making some ramps, there is funding constraints. So it's not never enough just about to talk about it without providing the resources. So this is very important. And today I would request the top leaders from the UGC or the ministry, they must think about it. Otherwise we'll only talk the talk, but we'll never walk the walk. So we need to walk the walk. Efficient management is another very important aspect. We need a follow-up system. I remember the HECA project. Now it is the time for HEAT project. Always I have found, and this is a very big issue, what kind of follow-up we do after those projects are implemented. So what is happening? A big amount of money is being channeled, but what is the real outcome? And what are the benchmarking? And what are the key performance indicators? Are you really following all those things? There are also questions about fund allocation. I'm very happy to say this HIT project is doing it much better and much transparently. But still, there are rooms for improvement, and we need to think about that. Developing research capacity, this is very close to my heart. I'm taking this opportunity because last year there was a very big summit, and that was on semiconductor physics, semiconductor industry. And very good researchers, top-notch thinkers were there. I was also present in that conference, but when the conference was over, I was not hopeful at all. Because in every aspect, when you make decisions, it has to be data-driven. And we call evidence-based policy. You don't do that. You make a big conference about semiconductor industry and you project that within a decade, it will be worth $1 billion, but you don't even know what kind of resource we have in the country. The persons who are really expert, you don't have anything. So you cannot build any plan, anything on empty ground. When the decisions are made, not supported by solid data, the existing facilities we have, what we have and what we haven't, then it will not be sustainable. And I'm very afraid, I can say from here, that the big conference, big summit will not really result in something significant. I'll be very happy if the outcome is there, but I'm not really confident at all. So this should be the common theme in all the symposiums and seminars where you try to devise a policy. There must be proper data. There is this question of accreditation. We have a feeling, and as an academician, I feel it every day, that somehow we feel good governance is very much related with heaps of paperwork, which is absolutely rubbish. We feel that if we can increase the paperwork by 10-fold, probably the efficiency will increase. No, it doesn't work that way. So all the focus is based on, this may sound a bit outrageous, but those focuses are based on kind of very shallow understanding how academic institutions are supposed to run and how it should be run and who should run it. Because increasing paperwork is not the right way. Then there is the question of when you talk about higher education, this is global. This is absolutely global. We talk within regional context, but higher education, knowledge, wisdom, idea, these things are intrinsically global. And we need to think globally. Just think about this. In the university recruitment system in our country, we say applicants should be Bangladeshi citizens. But at the same time, we look for jobs abroad. What kind of hypocrisy is this? You can do that. I know in a very prominent university in Bangladesh, the top one, there was a journal. If you want to publish there is a condition. One of the authors should be from the same institution. What kind of scholarly endeavor are you taking? So these are hard questions. When I stand here, I made up my mind that I will not pull any punch, because we want to listen to this and we want to think about this. And then I will go to the question of autonomy. Autonomy is of paramount importance. Autonomy and accountability both should be there. And striking a good balance is very important. So in this respect, all the regulatory authorities should work very closely with the universities. Nobody should impose anything on anyone. Everything should be based on proper discussion, scholarly discussion, data-driven discussion, and whatnot. but nothing should be imposed as far as the question of higher education is concerned. Okay, I'm taking a bit time now. The question of facing the future, this should be always there, and now it is a very important time because the future is very uncertain. The world order is changing. We can see it over our own eyes every day. Something is happening, and we need to think differently. But once again, the way we have done research, the way we have understood the world, which is going to change in a fundamental way. Because the artificial intelligence, we talk about it, but I don't know whether we really realize its impact on our society. The big data analysis, machine learning, robotics, it will change the job sector, the economic landscape entirely. Are we ready to embrace that? I know about certain countries in South Asia who has a policy about those aspects, but in Bangladesh, I don't know. I'm not aware of any policy which we have undertaken. So this is a very big question. Then there is case of supply chain. In universities, we need good students, and those students are produced in the schools and colleges in Bangladesh. So when you think about higher education and quality of higher education, it is no good if you keep your focus only on universities. This is a very large ecosystem, and every component affects the other components. So there should be a unified approach, and if it is not there, then not much can be done. Reducing bureaucracy, I think I have touched it. This is about red tapes and making large forms. When I see the forms, I feel kind of, what should I say? The right word will not be a proper one. If something can be done in 3 pages, why do you build a form with 20 pages? There is so much redundancy and so much paperwork. It really annoys me. All the policymakers should take a training how to make things concise, to the point, and reduce the level of redundancy. If you want to destroy a very promising researcher, what do? The best way to destroy a promising, a very good researcher is engage him or her in heaps of paperwork. We are not here for doing pages and pages paperwork. We are here to work, we are here to think about education, we are here to provide solutions of the problems, but the focus is not there, I would say. So now I'll touch another aspect which is very specific to Bangladesh, very specific. And every day in my tenure as a Vice Chancellor, I face this problem. That is the influence of very low quality politics in the everyday functioning of universities. There should be no political interference, local or national. The education should be run by those people who understand education. Keep it with the educators. I don't want to hear from some local political leader from this party or that party to tell me, please do this, do that, or you have to do this, you have to do that. Hell with it. We, the Vice Chancellors, should take a stand. There should be absolutely no political interference. I have not entertained it, and it is possible not to entertain it. It's not that you have to do it. You don't have to do it. Take a stand. Okay, so recruitment is another aspect, recruitment and promotion. In Bangladesh, this is specific to Bangladesh, so I think in other countries probably the situation is much better. Our recruitment policy and promotion policy is there to promote mediocrity. Universities is a place for excellence, and it has to strive to maintain the excellence. It has to strive to pick the best and promote the best. If you can do that, you are not doing your service to the higher education. This country probably has the lowest percentage of budget among all the South Asian countries. A government's commitment towards sustainable development, I have a single measure: how much they are prepared to invest for education. If they don't invest for education, I don't believe anything they say. Because if you really want to make a country better for all your citizens, you have to invest in education. If you don't do that, your words are empty words. That's what I feel. Okay, so this country also has the poorest salary structure. We cannot compare it with any other country. We are not prepared to pay the top students, the top scholars, a decent salary, but we say we expect world-class education from them. Again, it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Stop this kind of joke. It has been going on over decades. Now it's time to stop this joke. So, I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional because I face it every day. I face it every day. I love my country. I want to see it in a different way. Okay, so I'm about to finish. We have another problem, which is with our heart. Not everything is with education. Not everything is with logic. That we have a tendency of abusing power. Anyone who has a little bit of power tend to overuse it. We must listen to your inner voice. This is not a good practice, and I feel that whenever we have power, we have great responsibility to practice that power with restraint, and that is not present in Bangladesh. So this is the Bangladeshi perspective. There is this national university under which the greatest number of graduate students are studying. They don't have teachers. There is no scope for research, but we are producing the graduate students. We are offering MSc degrees. What do you think about that? I will keep this as an open question. How do we justify what we are doing? So we must think about it. And if we think everything is okay and this is the way to go forward, I will go for it. And there is also this situation with religious schools. They also offer graduate standard degrees. I don't know who ensures the quality and what is the vision there. If we talk about state of higher education and future pathway, then the National University and all the colleges under the National University, the educational institute, everything should be included. It is not about the 170 odd private and public universities. There are other reviews about inclusiveness. This will be my last word. We have around 170 universities. How many female vice chancellors do we have? It's not about the student enrollment. This is about glass ceiling as well. When I sit in the academic council or my syndicate meeting, how many female colleagues are there? In the classroom, we see the ratio is almost in certain departments 50-50. But in the top positions, how many female colleagues are there? Why aren't they there? If we cannot address those issues, then actually the gender equity will never be reached. Sorry for taking longer than I wish to. And as I said, whenever I get an opportunity to speak, I speak my mind. So I have spoken my mind. I hope you will think about what you think is what way of thinking. And thank you so much. Now the floor will be for the discussions. And I think we'll have a lovely discussion. Thank you.